All right. Wow. This thing's on, huh? Whew. All right, let's get started. Is everybody ready to get started? Listen, the higher ed summit's next door. We're going to have to do a lot better than that, all right? Is everybody ready to get started? Now you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. Oh, no. My computer's not ready to get started. Come back. Faulty dongle. Yeah, there we go. All right. First of all, I want to welcome everybody to the Community Summit. Some of you may recognize me. I have a podcast, Talking Drupal. But if you don't, my name's John Picozzi. I'm a solutions architect at EPAM, a longtime Drupal community member. I'm really happy to be here. However, today, I'll be the host of this Community Summit. This year's Community Summit was organized by a team that's worked really hard to bring you a fun day full of community members. I'm not going to be the only person talking to you. I have one of them right here. I'll introduce her in a minute. And we're going to try to do some interesting things, have fun. And the biggest part of this is community engagement. So our goal this year was to welcome new community members as well as longtime community members. Just out of curiosity, how many people in the room, this is your first DrupalCon? Yeah, awesome. How many people are new to Drupal? Okay, cool. So every year at DrupalCon, we come together and the goal is to get energized and excited, not only about DrupalCon, but about Drupal in general. So I look forward to helping you get that started, get going on that journey. We're at the first day of DrupalCon here, so we've got 3 or 4 days more, depending on how long you're here for. But anyway, let's get started. Couple of housekeeping items. We have a summit schedule, as I said, packed with a number of different formats of things happening today. As you can see here, we're going to have a number of different community speakers and people that are involved come up, talk to you. Again, not just going to be me. Few highlights to the agenda here. As you'll see, we have an event organizers AMA, or Ask Me Anything. We're going to have lightning talks from a few key initiatives within the community, a fireside chat with the Drupal Association CEO, Tim Doyle. And then in the afternoon, we're going to have a session on empowering stakeholders. And then we're going to cap off the day with roundtable discussions that are going to be led and guided by the folks in this room. We have a full day planned, but we built in plenty of breaks for networking, socializing. We will let you out of this room to have lunch, so you're not trapped here. Also, if you feel like you want to come in and out, the schedule's built so that you can leave for an hour, come back for an hour, whatever you want to do. It's very flexible. All right, so we want to hear from you folks, and the best way to do that is to join Drupal Slack. If you're not in Drupal Slack, join Drupal Slack. Would have been smart if I put a QR code there, but ask your neighbor. There are a lot of longtime Drupalers in the room. They can help you get onto the Drupal Slack. And if you go to the Community Summit Slack channel, we're going to be doing, like I said, an AMA and a fireside chat. Post your questions in that Slack channel, and we'll ask them there. We'll also do live in the room Q&A too. So if you want to ask, you can ask right here, right now, or you can post it in the Slack if you don't feel like talking. That's totally fine. Also, suggest topics for your for the roundtables. The roundtables right now are not defined, so you folks are going to get to define them. If there's something that's interesting to you, drop it in that Slack channel. Upvote with emojis. Any emoji will do, whatever your favorite emoji is. So that's enough from me for right now. I'd like to turn it over to our first community member, an Erin Wimborne Award winner, as she likes to tell people, co-organizer of a number of Drupal camps, and a longtime Drupal mentor. Give it up for Amy June Heinlein.
I actually am not going to say anything because this is an icebreaker where y'all get to meet each other. So pull up this QR code, and y'all should like have some bingo cards self-generate. And it's kind of random, I think. Yeah. So now, tag, you're it. Okay, the rules are you can't use the same person twice for your square, and then you have 7 minutes, and we're going to do 2 rounds. So this is an opportunity for you to get up, talk, move around, and meet some new people. Does everyone have it pulled up? Did it work? I don't have the answer to these questions. You're going to be that person, John? Okay. So, go. Stand up, or don't stand up, but go meet some people.
So if you have a bingo, raise your hands and yell bingo. Oh, Mark's got a bingo. All right. Anybody else? Keep on going. I'll do it. Enjoy your coffee. Thank you. What is that? All right, guys, this is a 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning. One minute. All right, everyone, let's jump back to our tables. We're going to move this show along. Avi, please take your seat. Hey, Mike, there's room at this table up front. No, there are other people sitting here. I wouldn't do that to you. That would be just mean. Oh, what? Come on. There were at least 2 more people sitting there. All right. So what did everybody think? Was that a good time? How many people got at least 1 bingo? Nice. How many people got a full card? Nice. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, well, so you can brag to all your friends now this week that, like, hey, I won Community Summit Bingo. And for the folks that got a full card, you can take it to the next level. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to another member of our community to talk about the New to Drupal initiative. Please welcome Joy Garrett, Program Manager at the Drupal Association.
Good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing? I had some coffee, so I'm like trying to bring it down so I can get this message out. So I am introducing the New to Drupal initiative. Before I get started, I would like to shout out Frederick Mischel. He has been leading the Forge for this initiative, and he would be up here speaking, but he's on a flight coming here to meet with you all later this afternoon. So I'm stepping in for him. So big ups to Frederick. He's done a lot of work to build this out. All right, so for those who haven't heard about this initiative, it came from feedback from the community wanting to be able to connect with people from their regional communities to feel more connected, to build community, and to have a place to kind of settle. So we listened to that feedback and we created the new community members and local community room. It's a hub. So if you come out this door and then you go to the left, there's an entire room with tables set up for you to meet with different ambassadors of your local community. And it's just a space for you to connect, and you can connect here at the conference and have people to navigate the conference experience with, but also more importantly, you can connect after you leave the conference. How can you get involved when you get home? What ways can you get involved in your local community? So that space is here for you. It's open throughout the entire conference day, and we do have a couple of key times to meet, and I'll go over that in a second. So far, we have 20 communities that are represented, and we have 31 ambassadors, so that's great. People are volunteering their time. Can we do a little roll call? Who is in the room? What local communities are here? Asheville.
Campers, right?
Okay. In the back. Atlanta. Uh-huh. Twin Cities. Y'all can just yell them out.
Bay Area, California.
Awesome. I believe we even have the Netherlands in the building. We have a little global representation. So we have a good amount of folks, and you can go into the room like I directed you outside, and you can meet with your ambassador and hang out with them and get a little bit more information. Can the ambassadors raise their hand for me? Let's give them a round of applause because they're volunteering their time. All right, so when are we gonna meet? Today, after the conference is over, after the community summit is over, we're gonna head over there and we'll hang out before the reception. So we can all hang out there and then we can walk over to the reception together. So that's a really good opportunity, especially if you're new to Drupal and you don't have anyone to navigate the conference with. You can just join us over there to mingle a little bit, and then we will go to the reception together. And then we're also going to be meeting tomorrow morning before the first sessions and the keynote, so you can have people to kind of walk over to the keynote session with Tuesday afternoon right before lunch, so we can eat together, and then Tuesday and Wednesday evening right before all the social activities. And this is also listed on the schedule on the conference website, so you can check it out there. But it really is just a place for y'all to connect, to do whatever you want with. If you want to have meetings in there, the space is yours. And the room is humongous. So if you just want to go hang out with some folks that you just met and connect with them, the space is for that as well. That's all I have. Do any of y'all have any questions on the initiative? Awesome. Thank y'all.
There's one question down in front.
Oh, yes. Yes.
How do new communities get involved?
How do new communities get involved with this initiative specifically? Reach out to Frederick. If you'll see, he'll be hanging out in that room, and if you weren't already listed as an ambassador, just reach out to him, and I'm sure that he can connect you with the details. The space is large enough to pull in some more folks.
We'll also plan to have him do a roundtable this afternoon. So right here in the room, Frederick will have a table that everybody can kind of go to get more information.
And also,
DrupalCon ambassadors channel on Slack.
oh, great, yes. Can they join that Slack channel, the ambassadors one? Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, that's another opportunity.
That was a great question. Any other questions? No? All right.
Thank you.
All right. This is like the first time I'm probably ever going to say this, but we're ahead of schedule. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to have a break. It's supposed to be until about 10:15. So if you can try to get back a little bit before that, we're going to get into our event organizers AMA. Remember, you can post questions in Drupal Slack, the Community Summit channel, if you don't want to ask them in person. There will be a point in time during the AMA where we will let you ask questions. So if you want to stand up and ask them, feel free to do that. Otherwise, I'll be keeping an eye on the Drupal Slack. So if you want to post your question there, I'm more than happy to deliver the question for you if you prefer. But let's plan to be back here in about 20-ish minutes, about 10 o'clock or 10:10. Sound good? Coffee is downstairs. Thank you, Joy. That's very important. I know a lot of people are looking for coffee. All right, welcome back. It looks like we found some people along the way. That's pretty awesome. How's everybody's coffee break? How was everybody's coffee break? Again, Higher Ed Summit, trying to make them envious. All right, I am super excited to move into our event organizers AMA, or Ask Me Anything. Again, reminder, if you want to not ask a question here in the room, send it to me on Slack. I will ask it for you. But let's jump right in.
What's the Wi-Fi code?
Look on your badge. It's right here at the bottom of your badge. I'm going to do my best CISO now. Make sure you're on your VPN, folks. It's an open Wi-Fi hotspot. Just putting it out there. All right, so today we're going to welcome a variety of Drupal community members to our AMA. Let's meet our panel. So first, they're not in order, so I'm going to just ask them to raise their hands as I introduce them. We have April Sides, Principal Software Engineer at Red Hat and organizer of DrupalCamp Asheville. Next, we have Avi Schwab, Technical Product Consultant at ImageX, Secretary of the Midwest Open Source Alliance. He'll be telling us more about that, and a former organizer of MidCamp. You already met Joy, but I'll introduce her again. Joy Garrett, Program Manager at the There you go, Mike Miles. Joy Garrett, Program Manager at the Drupal Association and co-organizer of this community summit. We have Mike Richardson, Managing Director at IronStar and a member of the Drupal Event Organizers Working Group. He also organizes DrupalCamp APAC. Sorry, I just realized that's DrupalCon APAC, not camp.
There's Drupal South Australia and New Zealand, which I'm not doing anymore. I'm not involved in it anymore. It's still happening. You should go. And DrupalCon Asia. Did nobody hear what I just said? DrupalCon Asia is what I get involved in.
There you go. And last but certainly not least, Chief Operating Officer at BlendMe and a former DrupalCamp Atlanta organizer, Kaleem Clarkson.
Keep it going, baby. Keep it going.
All right, so I'm going to play moderator for our conversation today. The questions will be up on the slides, and I'll try to direct them to folks, but everybody's going to kind of jump in and answer as they have something to say. So first and foremost, let's get to our first question. What are you most looking forward to at DrupalCon this year? Avi Schwab, I will start with you, sir.
What?
Yeah.
I was wholly unprepared for this.
It's already on.
It's on. Okay, great. What am I looking forward to at DrupalCon this year? I hear the keynote tomorrow is going to be great. So that's what I'm looking for.
So he's looking forward to the Dries note. For you that are new in the community, Dries gets on stage, tells us all the fun things that are happening in Drupal. You're excited about that. April, what about you?
I'm here for the people.
She's here for the people.
I'm here to meet new people and see old friends and meet new friends, yeah.
So, Mike, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
As someone who helps organize a DrupalCon, I'm excited about an opportunity to meet people and get feedback about what's good and what could be better about DrupalCons in general.
There you go.
So I guess that's still, same as April. That's people and connections and just finding out what everybody thinks. So if you've got an opinion on the future of DrupalCons, please let me know.
So, Kaleem, this is your first DrupalCon in a while, right?
Yes, but I'm mostly interested in, I guess there's a cage match going to happen between Josh and Dries. I'm really excited about that. So that would be cool. But no, jokes aside, I'm interested to hear, what are the new camps and where the new blood is going to come from? Because obviously we all know camps are the entry point to this community. So I just want to hear what y'all doing. So excited about that.
That's awesome, and it just reminds me that next year I'm going to have to put like a don't talk about this topic deck together. Like here, just kidding. Joy, last but not least.
I'm excited about meeting community, and also I'm excited about the BOFs. There are a lot of BOFs created by event organizers, and I think it'll be a really good space for me to get feedback on what's going on, how the DA can support the work that y'all are doing. So I'll be attending a lot of those.
Awesome. All right. Okay, so a lot of new folks in the room. I'm wondering, how many DrupalCons have you attended? DrupalCons globally, we'll say. And if you have any tips or tricks for first-timers. And we'll just start from Mike and go down. It'll make it a little easier than me just picking people.
I think this is my 6th DrupalCon, 6 or 7. I've only been going since 22. My tips for first-timers would be brave, make new connections. Like there's a lot of social mixes, there's a lot of opportunities to go and say hi to people. The best part about DrupalCons, in my opinion, is the people you meet, the friends you make. My first DrupalCon, I kind of sat in a corner and was too nervous to go up and talk to anybody. But now I find it a lot easier to just go up and say, hi, I'm Mike, what are you doing here? And it's the best part of it. So it could feel a little bit weird if you're a bit of a shy person like I am, but it's well worth it.
I would say the same thing. So my first DrupalCon was Paris in 2009.
Wow.
And I think I'm at like 15-ish, but it's hard to keep track. Yeah, so I would say 2 things. One, if you're new here, you may not get this opportunity again to actually like go to sessions. So sessions are really important, and like you're gonna hear things from the most prolific kind of Drupal folks around. And that's really important because like when you go back to your job, most likely you're gonna have to work. And it's really hard to like go watch recorded sessions when you've got deadlines. On the other hand, every session is recorded. The hallway tracks, the BOFs are not. So like Mike said, meet people, talk to people, just walk around the expo hall and shake people's hands and say hi. Like even just taking swag but talking to somebody for 30 seconds when you do it is a really great opportunity to kind of meet people. Yeah, I mean the other thing, I'll just echo that, like I still talk to, I'm still friends. Yeah, I went to this Lullabot event in 2008 and I still hang out with some of those people that I made connections with then. So yeah, if you are in a conversation and you've got a session to go to, but you're really engaged in the conversation, just keep talking. It's fine. That's what I'd say. Like, go with the flow and enjoy the people here.
So my first DrupalCon was Denver in 2012. Loved it. I think this is my 4th. Yeah, this will be my 4th DrupalCon. Haven't done Drupal work in about 5 years, like full time. Still dabble all the time. Great work, everyone. I would kind of echo a little bit of what Avi said here, and that's basically, I generally don't go to any sessions. I don't go to any sessions generally. Sorry, I'm not going. Sorry, is that bad?
No, you're fine.
Am I in trouble for that? All right.
It's a
So
choose your adventure situation.
yeah, so to me, the hallway track, the BOFs, of course, the after parties. I'm a big fan of those. Just really getting a chance to meet people as humans, right? So I spent a lot of time in the hallway track, as he says, a lot of time in the expo hall, because I came here just to see people I haven't seen in years. And when they say that, what's the cheesy line? Someone say, come
for the code, stay for the community.
Yeah, it's cheesy as shit, right?
It's not cheesy.
It is a cheesy line. Don't act like it's not. But it's true. It is true. And I wouldn't come back here if, see some faces. So I would say build relationships is by far the #1 goal here.
That one doesn't flow as nice. Come for the code and build relationships in the hallway track. April, what about you?
I believe this is my 11th
All right.
DrupalCon.
Nice work.
Only in North America. yeah.
Which one was your first? Do you remember?
Austin.
Oh, high five, me too.
Woo. All right. How many people in here would say they're an introvert?
See, there are a lot of hands, so we're in good company. So don't worry about like approaching people, and for sure, like you want to talk to people. And the benefit of being in person, even if you go to a session, is that you can ask questions. If you're watching a recording, you can't interact with the speaker, and so you can ask questions during the session, or like during the Q&A, or even talk to them afterwards, or thank them for their work, or whatever. I think that just making those little bits, protect yourself a little bit, but branch out a little bit, challenge yourself, go to the social events, because it's different. You might be playing games with somebody who's a module maintainer, and you get to know, what, they're actually a person. And so it's all good, that's the best way, I think, is through the social events and just having fun together. Yep.
I would say to utilize the resources that y'all have. There are a couple of opportunities that are built for you all to engage with one another. So the new community space, that space is specifically designed to meet somebody new. So it will be a little bit less intimidating if you're new to Drupal. And then also like Women in Drupal Luncheon, Black in Drupal Luncheon, that's an opportunity to meet people that have a shared identity with you. And then the BOFs and the social events, those are all also helpful. I didn't answer, this is my 5th DrupalCon, I believe, yeah.
Do people know what BOFs are?
So BOF stands for Birds of a Feather. So if you don't know what those are, they're kind of like roundtable discussions. A bunch of people with the same sort of focus or idea get together and talk about a thing.
Yeah.
I think that, oh, sorry. No, Avi, go ahead.
Yeah, somebody reminded me that I did a beer BOF at DrupalCon Chicago.
Somebody reminded you?
It was 2011.
It was a beer
It
BOF.
was a long time ago. Also, it was a beer BOF. But yeah, I mean, BOFs don't have to be Drupal, right? If you've been using static site generators, if you want to talk about keeping bees or planting flowers or whatever, these are what?
Coffee BOF. The
A hockey
exchange.
BOF. There's the coffee BOF.
Oh, hockey BOF.
Yeah.
There is
hockey
a coffee
and coffee.
Oh yeah, the
together.
coffee BOF is good.
Anyway, yeah, but that it's a it doesn't just have to be Drupal too. That's part of being here too. Where Drupal brought us all here, but there are lots of other things that we can connect with each other on. Sorry, Mike.
Sorry, there was one other first-timer tip that I just thought of that I don't think we covered, which is go to contribution.
Yeah.
It's a really, if you need to meet people, if you want to meet people, you've got a reason to talk to them, which can be a little bit less intimidating. And it is a generally very, very welcoming experience. So I think you can go to Contrib anytime. It's on now, right?
Yep.
So don't go right now.
Yeah.
Go later, but you can go.
Mike,
Stick around
what are you
and
trying
show
to?
up on Thursday.
What are you trying to do here? Everybody gets up.
If you're bored, yeah.
I remember going to contribution, my DrupalCon Denver 2012, and I really didn't know anything. All I knew how to do was do some CSS, and that was basically about it. And I remember sitting at a table, and Web Chick was sitting there, and she was just like, "Hey, what's going on? What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I don't even know what this Git thing is. I didn't even know what Git was at the time." And she's like, "No worries, let me show you how to do that." And I looked later, and I was like, "Holy sh!" Yeah, she was so cool, and that was one of the top developers. So definitely, Contrib Day is a really, really cool opportunity to interact with maintainers. Good call on that.
And it's not just for code. If you want to contribute to
Yes.
documentation or something else, if you're not a developer and you're not interested in being a developer, you will still find stuff to do in Contrib that'll be fun.
Absolutely. So I don't remember how many DrupalCons I've been to, but I'm with April. It's been about 11 because Austin was my first one, and it was a great experience. I'm going to piggyback on what Mike said. Non-code contribution is something near and dear to my heart. Obviously, I'm up here talking to all you fine folks, and that has almost nothing to do with code. So there are plenty of non-code contributions that we need help with to support this project and push this project forward. So definitely get involved. All right. So this question I dropped in there because last week I was attending Adobe Summit, and it's a huge conference, 10,000 people. And my impression was that it felt a little impersonal, right? 10,000 people, it's kind of hard to know, walk around a room and know people. Looking at this room, I know a lot of you, and I'm excited to see new faces. This feels a little bit more connected, but I'm wondering, how does DrupalCon compare to other events you may have attended? And I'm actually going to let Kaleem go first because I feel like he gets out to some events that are outside of he gets off the Drupal island, if you will. I'm wondering, how does this compare?
I would have to say it's definitely, believe it or not, it's way less commercial. Like, way less. And I'm in the HR space now, human resources, so there's a conference I go to in Vegas, it's called Transform. It's pretty good, about 5,000 to 6,000 people. But like, everybody is selling something the whole time, so it gets a little exhausting. I would say for sure, like, yes, of course we have vendors here that are selling things, and they're interesting, but the idea of contributing to like open source and community, I do feel like that's different. I've been to a small WordPress event, sorry, everyone. But
I mean, I just said I went to Adobe Summit. I mean, I think you're okay.
it's not a bad word anymore. It used to be a really bad word, but not today. But yeah, I would just say this feels a lot more, the word connected is a great word. It feels a lot more connected, and people just aren't selling a whole bunch of things to you the whole time. So I would say that.
Cool. Any other thoughts, or do we want to move to our next question?
I would say, I think it's more like DrupalCons and Drupal camps and Drupal events in general feel a lot more humble to me. Part of it is, you're not being pitched to. The other part of it is, I think a lot of other conferences are, they really lean into that sit down and listen while we tell you what we did kind of mentality.
Yeah.
And DrupalCons and Drupal events in general, I find are a lot more interactive. Things like contribution and BOFs really help with that. But it just feels like there's a lot more of an opportunity and a willingness to ask speakers questions and sort of pick their brains a bit more. So I find Drupal events a lot more interactive.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. Like, as you're talking, I'm thinking like, man, I really like, obviously work for a company where we want to grow our client base and like, but when I'm talking to people, I'm not like, hey, let me sell you something. I'm like, what's your problem and how can I help you solve it, right? And I think that's kind of like the difference of DrupalCon. Now, granted, there are some people that are like, I'm just here to get more clients, but I think like ultimately, yeah, what you guys have said is really, really important. All right, so he's not here, but recently Mike Anello took to social media commenting on the lack of beginner sessions at Drupal events. Do you agree? Should we have more sessions for beginners at Drupal events? April, I'm going to let you go first. Feels like a softball?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we need to attract new people to the community. We can't just keep doing it on our own. We have to have newcomers, and the only way you do that is giving them something that they can sink in, that they can learn. If we're just going to talk about all the enterprise stuff, it's just not going to hit somebody who's doing something for hobby or doing something for a smaller organization. So yeah, having a variety of sessions would be really important. And even doing like, I think we've done like a half-day beginner training or like first-timer training. It should be a full day, and it could even be 2 days. But I mean, the only thing you run into there is like you want these people to also mix in with people who have been around, so they get to experience the whole event and they don't feel siloed. So it's finding that balance as well when we do this.
Right. Joy, how does the Drupal Association feel about this topic? I would imagine they're kind of like, let's get more people into Drupal, and beginner sessions are the way to go.
Yeah, for sure. I think that that's an important topic that we all are talking about, is getting new folks into Drupal. And I think that there's a step even before just creating the beginner sessions at the conferences and the camps. I think that it's important to do the outreach to the universities and to different nonprofit organizations to make sure that those people are included in the room. So I do think that it's an opportunity to do the work that it would take to get them to the camp, and then having the things set up would probably attract them to want to stay, and connecting them with different people in the community would be helpful too. So I do believe it's a really great opportunity, but it will take some work.
Yeah, I mean, we were just having a conversation before, during the break, talking with somebody who was like, it's my first, I haven't gone to many Drupal events. I don't feel like I'm connected with the community. I feel like an outlier. And, my immediate response was, you're not an outlier. You're actually the majority, right? Like the people in this room, you're like the 1% of like the Drupal community, right? We showed up here, like you were able to get your employer or find the money to come here and stay in a hotel and take an airplane probably and take a week off work. Like that's amazing, and it's incredible that we're all here together. But there are probably hundreds or at least tens of thousands of people in the world who do Drupal every day who never get to show up to one of these. And so I think, in addition to having beginner sessions, having those ways that we can introduce people to the community too. So like you all going out and being like, hey, this is a very welcoming crowd. There's a lot of opportunities. Just taking one thing away from this week that you can take to other people who may not be able to show up to something like this, I think is a big part of that too.
Yeah. So I will say I'm going to give props to Sean because this conversation I think started at Drupal Camp New Jersey with Mike Anello and I and Jacob Rockowitz. We were all talking about it, and I agree with April. Yes, we should have more beginner sessions. And I know that at New England Drupal Camp this year, we're going to try to focus at least a track on beginner stuff. If any of my co-organizers are in the room, surprise. But yeah, I think beginner stuff is, or like new to Drupal, beginner feels like, it might not be the right term, but it is super important, and I agree with what everybody has said here.
I also like the idea of like crossover sessions. So years ago, I went Drupal Camp Charlotte did their Drupal Camp during another open source event. And that was really interesting. And I think years ago when Gatsby was, or what was the name of it? Gatsby was a thing, the static site generators. We saw a lot of Gatsby sessions, and it brought a lot of people from the other communities. So in addition to beginner sessions, I really think the crossover sessions with other technologies that are sexy always helps. So I think both of those.
I mean, there were also WordPress sessions at DrupalCon.
Whoa, calm down, calm down. But I do, on that same vein, like I think like a DDev session could be interesting. Like, hey, how do you get started with DDev? How do you build Drupal sites in DDev? Like, that could be super cool. So possibilities are endless. It sounds like at least the people here agree. Go ahead, Mike.
I'd want to ask a question to the audience on this topic. So yes, there should definitely be more beginner content at a DrupalCon or at Drupal events. The process of crafting a schedule is probably my most favorite thing of organizing a Drupal event, because it's super hard, because you want to make sure that there's dev content, there's authoring content, there's contribution content, there's beginner content, there's advanced content. You want to make sure your speaker pool is diverse, that the selections are done carefully. It's really challenging, and it's a huge amount of fun. One of the bits of feedback that we get for DrupalCon in Asia is people want more advanced content as well. Like if you're going to your 11th or your 14th DrupalCon and you've been doing this for 10, 15 years, how much do you want to see stuff that is really far out there? Like we had one session in Singapore that was like using eBPF and Rust for instrumentation of Drupal, which is like a super advanced topic. And I fought really hard to get that on the schedule, because I'm like, I want to know what they're doing, because that sounds really difficult. And the feedback we got was either that was great or I didn't understand that at all. How many of you would like to see more advanced content?
That's the challenge.
How many of you would like to see more beginner content?
Hey, you can't raise your hand twice, though. I see you back there, big dog. I see you.
How many of you want us to go on to the next question? All right. Oh, wow. All right. Hey, Leslie, if you want a seat, there are 2 open tables up here in the front. Feel free to fill those in. I see people kind of standing in the back. If you want a seat, feel free. All right, well, let's move on to our next question. And surprise, it's actually some audience and Slack questions. So we got a couple of them, which I will read. I'm not going to read names, just in case folks want to stay anonymous. But along the same lines of the beginner session topic, thinking of beginner sessions, DrupalCon used to have Friday Contrib days where new attendees were encouraged to be involved. Are they a possibility? So correct me if I'm wrong, panel, but they are happening here, right? We do have Contrib on Thursday, right? And I think Avi said it. Newcomers, I think actually Mike said it too. Newcomers are welcome and encouraged to go to those Contrib sessions, and you don't just have to code.
So there's a new contributor workshop too. Matt, do you want to say anything about that? Okay. So it's Thursday morning?
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Okay, so they're running the same thing. Yeah, so there's a really great new contributor workshop. Matthew, a handful of other folks in this room have run. But yeah, so that's an hour, a couple hours. Is it an hour?
40 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
depending on the session.
Sorry, yeah, thank you. Yeah, so that's an hour where you sit down with mentors who are trained to train you on how to contribute to Drupal. So if you've never contributed before, you can go and sit down at a table with a handful of people and they will tell you exactly what you need to get set up and how to do that. So that's a really, really great kickstart. You can also just show up on Thursday and start trying to do stuff. But if you do that, you will probably take the morning of Thursday to just figure out what's going on. And that's okay. Like the biggest thing that I've told people about Contrib Day is like, if you are going to contribute to code, you need to understand that your first day is just gonna be figure out what's going on, and that's okay. Like, if you don't get a commit in your first contribution day, that's fine, in my opinion. Like, if you go and you work and you figure out how to do stuff, and next week, next month, next year, like, you eventually, like, put a patch into a module, you still got something out of that day. So I think that's a really important thing. You don't have to go for the code, but also if you go for the code, it's okay that you don't get there immediately, because it's a long process to figure out how to open a merge request and comment an issue and go through the whole process. So yeah.
All right.
Sorry, that was a long.
That's okay. I'm a big advocate of contribution. So.
So is the new contributor workshop a good place if you need a refresher on some of the new tools like MR workflows, GitLab CI, all this stuff that has emerged over the last several years that have outrun me?
Short answer, yes. Yeah, they cover all of the kind of new workflows that are out there, and yeah, I would definitely check that out. And if they're not covering it at that point in time, there's definitely somebody in the room that can help you kind of go through that. So we have another question here about beginner talks. How do we best include beginner talks without having repeat sessions every year and have more variety without making them too intermediate? Additionally, how do we best balance having beginner and intermediate sessions? Hold that thought, because I'm going to read another question and then I'm going to try to answer both of them at once here. Somebody said, why not raise your hand for both questions? I'd like to learn as a beginner of topics that I'm not aware of, and I would like to learn as an expert of topics that have some that I do have some knowledge about. So what I would say to that is, so I went to Drupal Camp New Jersey 2 weeks ago, and I went to Mike Anello's Drupal CMS training. And I walked into the room and he's like, what are you doing here? In a nice way, it wasn't, like that. But like, he already knows that I know what Drupal CMS does, and I know what what features come out of the box with it. But I like to go to those sessions just to see something that I might not know. And literally, there were at least 3 things in that training that I was like, oh, okay, well, that's new that I did not realize, and that's awesome. So, I think there's great value in having those beginner sessions, and even if they repeat a little bit, that's okay. But guys, Drupal's huge. There's so much beginner stuff to learn. Like, we could literally have a 5-day full-time conference about all the beginner stuff in Drupal, right? Any other thoughts on that?
So I would say, one, if you don't know, I just told somebody else about it. Drupal.tv is a place where you can go and find like every session that's been done and recorded in the last decade or more. If you just want to like learn stuff, it's a great place to be. But I think one of the things that we struggle with, both at the camps, and I've never been on the selection committee for cons, but the balance between curating and kind of open calls for sessions, right? I think sometimes we as a community could do, we really focus on like, we want everybody to come in, we want to be open, we want to have diverse speakers, we want to have beginner and we want to have advanced, and we kind of just get caught up in like, okay, let's do everything for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that we have to figure out is how to both have those opportunities and to be able to curate some real kind of pathways for people that aren't able to navigate those yet. And that's not an answer, that's just this is still a big question.
I think what would be
Fine, thanks for that.
I think what would be really cool is like that curated content is a necessity, and I think if we could do like there's training happening today, and it's paid for. So I think you got to pay like $400 or $500 to go there. So and it's getting really good turnout, and it's really good topics. I think if we could have a summit that was just focused on beginner content on a day like today, so that it's before the main event. You come in, you're not a Drupal dev, you haven't worked with Drupal before, you want to come in and there's a dev track, there's a content authoring track, there's a Drupal CMS track. You go through that day, it should be free. Like if you've got a conference ticket, you should be able to go to the training for free. And then that sets you up as a first-time attendee and as a new Drupal user to then go to the main sessions on day 2 and 3, where you're like, cool, I understand a bit more about what people are talking about. Like, I feel like that's the way I'd like to see that happen.
So Mike's told you to get up and go to Contrib, and now he's suggesting a competing summit where folks would go to that maybe instead of this.
Well, you go to Contrib on the last day. So
I'm kidding.
It's the first day. It's the first day?
I don't know.
I mean,
It's on Thursday.
Oh, no, I'm saying what you're proposing.
Yeah, it's on the first day. So you have like this life cycle where you come in on day 1 and you learn Drupal, and then on day 2 and 3 you get more experience, and on day 4 you contribute.
Yeah, I mean, I think a new to Drupal summit sounds like a great idea for, maybe it's maybe it's community summit in the morning and new to Drupal in the afternoon. I don't know.
Someone on the future DrupalCon working group should probably set that up.
Anybody in the room? Okay.
This was, I mean, Lullabot did this. That was the first Drupal event that I went to. Lullabot did this, like, do it with Drupal in 2008, 2009. It was like a single track, 2-day conference, and like that was all it is.
Wow.
I wanted to say one more thing, like
Go ahead.
repeating content, like if we have new beginner content and we're repeating it every time, we should always have new people that is, valuable to. And so it's okay to repeat things because, and even, like we all have seasons in our journey through going to events and like what we focus on. You may focus on the training first, you may focus on the sessions first, and then get into the BOFs and then get into the socials and just kind of that thing. But like, yeah, I mean, especially for beginner content, it can be repeated because they may choose to go to one, they might have to make a choice. They might be competing topics and then they're going to like the content editing first and then maybe they get into the development side of it. Yeah, 100%.
Cool. So clearly we've touched on a very important topic here, and I look forward to the hallway track and hearing more about this, but I'm going to move to some of our other questions from the Slack, and you guys are doing a great job in there, by the way. I see really great conversation happening. So let's talk about maintaining modules for a second, which I know is a little off topic, but I think you guys will be okay. So what steps can we as a community take to reduce the issue of contributed modules going unmaintained or falling behind in development, especially when they're critical to many sites? Are there any initiatives or ideas to better support maintainers and share maintenance responsibilities?
I mean, I would say growing the community is important so that we have more people available to support modules and things like that.
Yep.
Making connections, like if you have a module that you're really passionate about and you meet the maintainer here, then maybe you could join in and help with that maintainership as well. I don't know if the DA is doing anything in particular to help with like Yeah, help with like, I know that there's processes for like if somebody
Yeah.
abandons a module and it's important,
Yep.
or widely used.
Yeah, so
There's processes.
there are a couple of things, right? So there is a bug bash initiative where like there's a group of people that are trying to kind of like get long-running Drupal issues kind of like squashed, which is awesome. There's also the ability, and April just touched on this, to kind of take over maintainership if you see a module hasn't been maintained or updated in a while. Myself and another coworker actually just did this to the Commerce Tools module for Drupal. We noticed that it had kind of a release and then hadn't really gone overly maintained, and we rewrote it and we are releasing it hopefully at some point this week. We'll see. But yeah, there is a process for that, and I think overall, like, you know, back to what Avi was saying about contribution, right? Don't be afraid to jump in. Like if you know you need a module, or you see that you are using a module a lot and you notice that it's not overly maintained, jump in there and try to help out, get in the issue queue and see if you can triage some things. You know, I think it's you know, it's open source for a reason. So.
John, I see a long-term module maintainer has a comment.
Ah, yes. Oh, okay. I would also add to that one, make sure it's on a fresh Drupal install, because sometimes you get gremlins. Oh boy, all right. I'm gonna time box you to like another 2 minutes. Ding. Okay.
Agent Richard. There he is.
I mean, Tugboat allows you to do preview environments, so you could preview the, you know, the patch being applied to your site and say, yeah, this looks right. The TLDR there.
Yeah. Give a round of applause for Agent Richard. There it is.
Module.
All right.
Module maintainers are not mind readers. All right.
I'm gonna hang on. I got to bring this back.
Oh.
These questions are getting to me a little off track. How many people here are Drupal event organizers? Okay.
Ooh, all right.
How many people here would like to start a new Drupal camp? And that's why you're here today. Ooh, we got one. Oh, a few people.
3, 4, 5.
A few people. All right. Just curious. Can we get on track with the Drupal event organizer?
Yeah. I got. Don't worry. I got plenty. I got all sorts of questions. Here we go. Let's jump into this one. And Kaleem, you can actually maybe
Thank you.
start this one out. What is one of the most pressing challenges you face as an event organizer right now?
So I'm no longer running Drupal Camp Atlanta, but I do feel like, my, 8 or 9 year run contributed to DrupalCon coming here, so I feel good about it. Sponsorship has always been a challenge. I think as camps have grown, back in the day, I feel like camps had a different purpose. So it was a lot easier for camps 10 years ago, 15 years ago, to put on an event because we all needed, the agencies needed these camps to grow the word of Drupal, to potentially land larger clients. But are we at that spot today? So I think the purpose of your Drupal camp has to kind of change a little bit. More about education, maybe a little bit more about talent, attracting talent for the agencies to hire. So really trying to think about what the value proposition is for your camp and why agencies should potentially sponsor it. I think that was one of our biggest challenges, and I'm interested to hear from the rest of you what you all think as far as challenges.
April, what do you got?
People to do the tasks of organizing an event. And you don't have to know Drupal. It's not a code-based thing. It's like design. You can be a designer for a camp. You can do social media for a camp, even if you don't have social media experience. We just need to get the word out. Just all the things, like figure out what tasks you could pick up just to help out, I think would be very helpful because burnout is real. And I feel like if I didn't do my camp, it wouldn't happen. So I'm spending lots of nights when we could all be spending like a few more minutes of our time instead of a couple people spending lots of late nights doing things.
Project managers, don't show up to a camp and be like, I want to work on the website. We all work on websites. We need project managers and people to actually figure out the tasks that need to be done and delegate them. That's always a big deal. The one thing I'll say to Kaleem's point too is the value proposition is one of the things that kind of with MidCamp we went in circles on for a long time. We have so many different constituencies that we're trying to serve running an event, whether it's DrupalCon or it's a local camp. To me, it kind of always got back to just existing where we do is a really, really big value, right? I've been going on and on about everybody being so fortunate and privileged to be here. The number of airline miles that it took for all of us to be here is a lot of pollution that we put into the environment, right? If everywhere had their own camp and we didn't have to fly millions of miles around the world to hang out with Drupal people, that'd be a big benefit, right? So just existing in smaller places that are more accessible, I think is a really, really big value.
I think for me this all, I agree with all of this, and I think it all comes back to the idea of if you want there to be a Drupal community, be part of the Drupal community. Whether that is attending, presenting, sponsoring, organizing, and I feel like, to this room, probably most of you, or all of you already realize this, but if you're not involved in an event and you have even the slightest inkling that you think maybe I would like to be involved in an event, go for it, because we always need more help. I don't think we've ever had a volunteer for an event where we're good here. We don't need your help. It's okay. We're covered. To the question specifically, the biggest challenge that we find is money. It's raising money with sponsors. There are sponsors who will sponsor an event, and most of the agencies, because they want to support Drupal and they want to support their local Drupal community. There are sponsors who sponsor the events because they want leads, they want to win work. They've got, and this is especially true for the big sponsors with the big corporate oversight of what's your return on investment for this $10, $20, $30, $100,000 you want to spend on this event. So one of the great things that you could do at this event and at any other Drupal event is go and talk to sponsors, put yourself on their mailing list. If you can buy something from them, that's great. But if you engage with them, it makes it a lot easier for them to come back every year. But yeah.
Over the past year, I've been speaking with a lot of event organizers and just gathering feedback directly from you all, like hearing what are some of the areas for like opportunities of growth and how can the DA support you. And I've been doing that globally, so obviously there's a lot of different feedback, but my job was to kind of funnel that and to kind of pick some different buckets that we could put it into. So some of the things that I've been hearing is the need for more marketing materials, how that takes up a large amount of time. It's just how do we get the word out there? So we're coming up with a plan on how we can support that. What type of branded materials can we give you all that kind of eliminates a lot of the time that it takes just to talk about the event. So that's one. Globally, we're hearing a lot of the materials that we do have are only in English, so how can we get a translation initiative to get some of those key documents translated into other languages? I've also heard that Drupal.org is a difficult place to navigate for new folks that are coming into the community and just trying to figure out how to get involved. So we hope to streamline that and make it more accessible and for it to be like just the meeting hub and so it could be a little bit more design friendly. So that's on our books. What else? What else have I heard? We've also heard that there are a lot of people who would like to start a new association or a new local community, but they don't know how to. So creating opportunities to learn peer-to-peer. So how can we use some of those developed associations and camps and use that wisdom to pour into new folks that are trying to get started? And then also just creating more opportunities to learn from each other. So doing a webinar series, if you're struggling with community engagement, if you're struggling with marketing, the DA setting up some sessions so that we're able to create those opportunities for y'all to learn from one another.
One last thing. I saw a lot of hands go up when I asked how many people here are Drupal event organizers. If you're not part of the event organizers working group, you need to be a part of it, because let me tell you, organizing a camp is lonely at the top. It's damn lonely, okay? And I never felt closer to any of these people until we connected on the event organizers group. And like just to even just get on the call and hear people just complain, trust me, it's like a therapy session because you're not alone at all. So again, if you're gonna start a new camp, join the event organizers group. And if you're not, if you're already part of an existing camp and you're not a part of the event organizers working group, absolutely get involved and use the damn database of all existing conferences and reach out to someone before you pick your date if it goes over someone else's date. I mean, it's simple.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's simple.
All right.
So that's
So-
event organizers on Drupal Slack. There are also stickers in the first table over in the local communities room. John,
Yeah.
I think I see a hand back there.
A follow-up question on what you guys were saying, how about reviving a group? Because that's the scenario I'm facing in my area.
Yeah. So that's a great question. I organize a Drupal camp. I also organize a local meetup, and local meetups are hard.
Sorry, John,
like-
can you repeat the question?
I can repeat the question. The question was, how do I revive a local group, or do you have any ideas for local group revival? So I organize a meetup. Meetups are tough. Even before, COVID, it was like, there were dwindling kind of numbers showing up. I mean, we have a Drupal camp in Providence, Rhode Island, that, has about 100 to 150 people show up every year, which is awesome. But the meetups just, they don't necessarily happen. So, I would actually piggyback on what Kaleem said and see if you can kind of pool your resources a little bit. Like if there are a couple of different meetups happening in a relatively close by geographic area, see if you guys can team up and do one meetup, maybe a quarter as opposed to every month or something like that. But I don't know if anybody else has any ideas on kind of revitalizing meetups, but.
Yeah, I mean, I've had this conversation a few times lately. So in Chicago, we don't have an active meetup right now. It's been really hard to reestablish it. But we have the community around MidCamp and that's, that kind of sustains things. For for communities that don't have something, what I'd say is start with either, if you know there are people in a local geographic area that will go to a central location, start something small and local at the library, at somewhere that's free, at a lunch spot. Do that, try and get the word out, try and get a few people there, but also commit to it for 3 months, 6 months, right? If you do 2 events and nobody shows up and you stop, you're not gonna get more people. I did at some point pre-COVID, I did downtown Chicago Drupal lunch. And I just I was like, I'm working downtown, I'm gonna go to a place and sit there and have lunch every Wednesday. And nobody showed up for a couple weeks. And then, but I had good shawarma and it was fine. And then a handful of people started coming. And some weeks, nobody was there, and some weeks 4 or 5 people showed up. And just setting yourself a consistency, whatever you can manage, but for a few weeks or months, in order to give people some time to find it and then be able to show up. I think that's a really big thing. But also starting small, because raising money and then trying to find people isn't gonna work. You gotta find the people first and then figure out how to get the bigger thing together. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, definitely start small. A meetup is a great introductory thing that doesn't need a lot of funding and support to try to get people together to have a conversation. I know in the Boston area, they actually meet at a library, which I think is free, and they're able to meet every month and have a meetup, which is awesome. They get a couple people together, and that can kind of grow into a bigger event. Okay, I see hands going up. There was one more question I wanted to get to, but I will, you first, and then Chris in the back. Welcome. You're doing just fine.
Sound fine to us. Keep going.
There you go. So,
This is one problem that we meet in Africa, and our community seek in March of what will happen in Drupal community to go out to the language. We are speaking French.
yeah.
So when we come for the event, we are not in translation. And people, when they started Drupal community, they are also lost because of the language. Material is English. And so I have to train people in Drupal, translating in English to French before training them. We held our first DrupalCon last year. I think Joyce and other persons helped us very much to be able to do this first camp. It was the first in West Africa.
That's awesome.
DrupalCon in West Africa. people who can sponsor like our activity.
Yeah.
So if we have local community representatives, it can bring better organization to permit to local community people to be credible when they organize events.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to try to summarize that for the rest of the room. Sounds like you're in a region where there isn't necessarily a Drupal association or a local governing body of Drupal, right? And you're doing a great job organizing an event, and congratulations for that. That's awesome. But you're wondering, how do you, and don't take this as negative, but how do you bring legitimacy to your Drupal efforts when you don't have an overall organizing body, right? So that's kind of what how I'm summarizing that. Joy, I'm going to put you on the spot. Joy! And how does the Drupal Association kind of handle that scenario?
No comment.
I have two smaller answers to questions that I think while Joy talks.
Okay, but you only have 30 seconds for both of them.
I'm going to be really short.
Okay.
One of those things John mentioned, there are local associations that start. I'm gonna call out Esmeralda, who's over there. Esmeralda, you can wave. Esmeralda is really involved in the European Drupal associations, and so she's a great person to talk to about forming those kind of local communities, the local associations. The other thing, if you go to drupal.org/community/events, there's a new local communities page that's linked from the sidebar there. That is editable by anybody with the drupal.org ID. So if you go to that page and put your country and that you have a Drupal community, then you have a Drupal community, and there is a thing on drupal.org that says you are legitimate. So that is a really good way that you could put that out there, and you can publish something on drupal.org that says we are here. So,
Yeah. All right.
but Joy's going to say more.
All right.
I will add as somebody who's worked very closely with Salama that your work is legitimate, that the work that you are doing is established. You've gone through the right channels, the correct channels. I do think that there are opportunities, like I was speaking about earlier, to learn like peer-to-peer. So like how can you continue to refine it? I think that like you just called out Esmeralda, that would be a good relationship to connect with, to talk about sponsorship or the fiscal entity of it. It's a good opportunity for y'all to connect. But I also just wanted to call out that it is legitimate. I hear what you're saying, but you've gone through all the right channels and you're doing great work.
Okay. Chris, you literally have 30 seconds. Go.
If for anyone who is wanting to attend a meetup remotely, we have an online midday meetup on every second Thursday of the month. I shared the link in the Community Summit Slack group.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so there are a ton more questions in the Slack channel, but we have reached our time for today. I know, but I'm going to invite our panelists to jump into the Slack channel and try to answer some of those questions for you. We'll have roundtables later, so you guys can kind of talk more about getting answers to those questions. And thanks, everyone. Why don't we give it up for our panel one more time?
John, can we plug the booth?
You can plug whatever you'd like.
Okay.
You got 30 seconds.
I'm going to do that really quick. So there's a event organizers working group booth, or there's a community booth that will be on tomorrow, and I don't even know what day it is. The day after tomorrow.
Wednesday.
That would be Wednesday.
Yeah, thank you. Tuesday and Wednesday.
Use the website.
So if you want to come along and ask any of the event organizers working group questions, please feel free to do so during the breaks. And also, really quickly off topic, if you're a Drupal dev, please fill out the Drupal developer survey. That's on right now. The more feedback we get, the more we understand about the Drupal development community. So thank you.
Awesome. All right, we're going to switch over to lightning talks. So if you're one of the folks giving a lightning talk, come on down. Thanks, everyone.
Who's the photographer?
Hey, Avi.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Colleen, you sticking around?
I am?
Cool.
Yeah.
Catch up.
I got a ticket, so I got to go to session.
There you go. Yeah. You guys can sit in. Okay, let's see. I think I have five of you. Okay. Yeah, 5. Sure. I don't know.
So are we?
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna let you guys talk. I'm gonna. Oh, jeez. You think it's happening automatically or? No. All right. We'll do it. That's all right. Oh no, my speaker notes went away. Yep. JD only gets 3 minutes. Yeah. I think I'm good. There's Nick.
Yeah, I'm Nick.
Hi, John. Nice to meet you. You can feel free to take a seat, or you can just come up and then go back down. Whatever works for you. All right. How's everybody doing out there? So we are going to do some lightning talks. Everybody gets about 5 minutes. And then it's going to be lunchtime, so who's excited? It's been a challenge all day, Nick, all day. All right. Well, first I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to turn it over to our lightning talk speakers. Let me see if these still work. They do. Okay, awesome. So the first is going to be Nick. He's going to talk about the Ripple Makers program. When you get to your video slide, just hit the space bar and it should play. Okay. The sound should work.
Hello, good morning. My name is Nick Koger. I'm the product marketing manager at the DA. This is secretly my first DrupalCon, but don't tell anyone. I keep saying that in secret because I feel like 50 people will jump out the closet and be like, haha, gotcha. So I'm happy to be here. Just real quick, wanted to talk about the Ripple Makers program that we have here at the DA. All right, point's cool. So the Ripple Makers program is a group of passionate individuals supporting the DA's mission of driving adoption and innovation as Drupal for digital public good. This work helps empowers the DA to continue its vital work in advancing a common good. Here are a few examples of what the financial support of the Ripple Makers goes towards. Obviously, engineering, very critical for all the work that you're doing. You can't do your work if servers are not working. And so we have things like server availability, security, as well as advocacy as well. And so some things that are really cool I wanted to highlight. The Digital Public Good Registry, we were just included in an annual report this year. That was really cool. And then also the cyber resiliency advocacy in Europe. Right now, there's legislation that can potentially restrict open source in Europe. And obviously that's not good. And so last but not least, obviously DrupalCon. Ripple Makers are supporting DrupalCon for things like scholarships that can help support people who cannot financially commit that additional funds to attend. And then also our roundtables and networking. And I have short video.
Hello, my name is Faye Loren. I'm here in Vancouver, BC, in Canada, and I work as a delivery manager for a company called Renaissance Electronics. They use Drupal as their CMS of choice. I'm also on the Drupal Association Board of Directors and one of the 2 community elected seats, and I am one of the Drupal Diversity and Inclusion Initiative leads. So as you can tell, I think about Drupal a lot. I spend a lot of time talking about Drupal, working with other Drupalists, Sometimes I have conversations with people who aren't familiar with open source, and they always ask the same questions. They're like, what do you mean you built a career on something that's free? And I sort of explain, I mean, at least for me, I think of it more like a gift. It's not free, it's something that has been gifted to me and to us by community members like me over the past 20 years, people who have put their time, energy, and resources into something that they believe should be readily available to anybody who wants to learn, anybody who wants to use it. 10 years later, I've been building my skills, building my career. I now have a great job and a comfortable life. And this is my opportunity, one of my opportunities to give back. So I do contribute my time. I work with the community doing community leadership things. I do sessions, but I'm also a ripple maker because my small monthly contribution is going to help the Drupal Association with their mission to create an impactful digital public good. So if you, like me, have a comfortable life and Drupal to thank for it, I invite you to join me and be a ripple maker.
You can clap. You can clap. Yeah, such a great video. So if you are interested in learning more about the Ripple Makers program, or just you want to commit right now, please feel free to scan the QR code, or you can go on the website d.org/Ripple Makers to learn more. Thank you all, and I'll be around.
Do you think I can do in 5 minutes? We'll see. Hey everybody, I'm here to talk about the IXP initiative. If you haven't heard, IXP is for Inexperience, which is not an initiative anymore. We're actually basically live now. So let's talk about it. What was the problem? It starts with my son. I tried to get him into Drupal, and I realized, like, being new now is not the same that 10 years ago when I started. It is hard right now. There are no jobs. You have said it a bunch of times. They require experience. So we started with saying there is somebody before the junior, and it's an inexperienced developer that doesn't have a place to go. But there is also another problem. That causes new talent not to be able to break in, but companies that are training people, they get hired away by American companies, especially in other countries. A Colombian company, where I'm from, will train people, and then they cannot pay the salary that an American company can pay, and they lose the asset. So our solution was IXP, which is Inexperience. Companies will hire like interns, like IXPs, as kind of an internship. They will provide mentorship, at least 1 hour for every 10 hours. It's going to be paid. There are some conditions that we can talk about if you want after this. The organization will get 250 contribution credits for each IXP that they train, up to 4, not unlimited. And of course, for the newcomers, they get actual real Drupal experience. So how it works, for companies, you can post a job on jobsdrupal.org/the IXP Developer Hub. For developers, you can apply for those, and in the near future, I'm hoping to have also a way where you can say, I'm available as an IXP, so companies can see that people is interested. Then you're going to both track your progress in the site. Drupal IXP.site is not completely ready, but it's almost ready. And the requirements are minimum 160 hours of paid work. And at the end, we need to see a blog post from the person, the IXP that was trained, and at least 3 contributions, whatever they are, translation, depending on what else that you're training that person. So the current status is the job board is live, the management system is functioning. I'm not done yet. Now we're seeking who wants to participate in this. And for companies, of course, you get talent and contribution. For developers, you get a career start in Drupal. For our community, we finally get a pipeline for newcomers. that are going to stay because they have a job, and it's easier if you can eat. We have sustainable talent ecosystem, and of course, breaking the experience barrier together, all of us. So, what do you have to do? If you are an organization, think about if you're training somebody or if you want to train somebody, get them through the IXP program. If you are new to Drupal, please, be aware of the little job hub. Hopefully we get a lot of companies looking for you. We have information in drupal.org/IXP. It's mostly done as well. And if not, just find me after this session. But that's it.
All right. I'm going to do my best to get through my 2 slides on the event platform in 5 minutes. So for anyone who hasn't heard of the event platform, it's really a set of modules in a way like a template for creating a website for an event like a Drupal camp. So it's going to allow you to quickly build out a content architecture that allows for user submitted submissions and BOFs. You can organize sponsors, job listings, featured speakers, and a couple of other things. Some of the recent functional enhancements include things like being able to generate your time slots in bulk, sort of a single step, drag and drop interface for scheduling your sessions, and then new this year, there's a built-in ability to rate sessions. So it uses a web form Likert scale, which makes it really super easy to go in and change the criteria that you want to rate your sessions on, and then total those up. And then once you have all your sessions rated, then you have this sort of bulk moderation interface where you can display them ranked and then sort of choose. You can filter based on like category or audience. So hopefully that'll make it much easier to do some of the things that can be complex if you're doing it in like spreadsheets. Again, all built into the Drupal interface. But the big news for today is that literally as of this morning, there's now a 2.0 version of the event platform. So now it has this sort of multi-event architecture. So a single website can hold content for multiple events. So think of like an annual Drupal camp. You don't have to sort of like completely wipe out the content every year. You can sort of aggregate all of that so that it can help for things like SEO, but also for speakers so that like their links don't go dead that they've put on their own personal site or profile. There is also now a new starter theme, so it's based on the FLDC theme. And actually, before I move on from the multi-event architecture, there's a look at one merge request that I had, so a little bit of work went into that. But yeah, so now we have a starter theme, and then based on that, also there's a template on Drupal Forge, so if you want to try out the event platform, it's literally never been easier. So there's a QR code for that. Leave that up for a couple minutes. Also wanted to give a big shout out to Bernardo, who's done a lot of the work on the starter theme and the Drupal Forge template. So yeah, definitely give him a round of applause for that. And then for the rest of the year, probably the biggest thing that I want to undertake is getting it converted over into a set of recipes, including having like a site starter recipe. So up until now, it's been really focused just around kind of the session system, which means that you're still doing a lot of the work of building a Drupal site, whereas this is meant to be much more robust as a starting point. So you sort of run the site installer, customize, sort of the name and some of the other things, and then if you want to customize the look and feel, and you should be in a pretty good place in terms of being able to put it in front of potential sponsors and some of the other things. So that's sort of the vision that we have, and would love to, get help from anybody who has a passion to be involved in all of this. So that is the event platform.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is JD Leonard, and I'm here to talk to you about Event Platform. So often a developer builds something in a bit of a bubble. It might not be general enough for many to adopt. Maintenance, improvements, and support are not sustainable. And Member Platform is a community initiative designed to be widely useful for many organizations and sustainably built, maintained, and supported. In a nutshell, Member Platform will be a set of tools to help membership organizations with their everyday operational and marketing needs. Things like content management, member management, communication to members, event registration, community platform, and fundraising campaign management. So it's a bit of a mouthful, but I'm going to share the mission that we've come up with here. So the mission of Member Platform is to leverage Drupal to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of membership organizations globally, especially those with low technical or financial resources, so that they can positively impact their communities and to build an open and welcoming community of individuals united in their passion for serving membership organizations through Drupal. Taking it a step further, another mouthful, the vision is to provide a Drupal native ecosystem of secure, privacy-enhancing, integrated, beautiful, and user-friendly tools that initially can meet many of the operational needs of at least 80% of membership organizations globally that have 0 to 5 staff members, including all volunteer organizations. So our status right now is we're gathering contributors, we're refining our initial scope, and we're defining our roadmap. Our scope for our 1.0 release, and I will note, there is no code yet, is to initially target Drupal user groups and local associations. So a lot of these groups use meetup.com to collect interested members and handle event registration. And so we're looking for just the minimal viable product, the 1.0 release, to offer sort of a meetup.com lite for just a single group in one Drupal instance. So some features that this would include being able to join the group, RSVP for events, have a member directory, the ability for the group organizers to email the group members, including based on their RSVP status for a given event, very similar to meetup.com, and also to localize the platform into at least one non-English language to make sure that we're doing a good job being available globally. Oh, before I get to the call to action, I messed it up. Here we go. So, looking forward, the roadmap is going to include more complicated, more interesting things that's going to be applicable to a lot of different types of organizations. So things like payment processing, donation campaigns, and content management, if you can believe it. Okay, so calls to action. There's a Slack channel, Member Platform, on Drupal Slack. I encourage you to join there. Declare how you will contribute to this initiative. So there's an issue for that. And I've got a cheat way for you to get to these things easily. Declare your user group or meetup's interest in being an early adopter of the Member Platform. I'm giving a session tomorrow at 4:10 p.m. If you give a Member Platform a cookie, lessons learned creating a Drupal product for membership orgs. Also, Contribution Day on Thursday. I will be there set up in the mentor room, ready to help anybody who wants to contribute to this initiative. So come find me. I'll be easy to find. I've got a shirt. And then there are 2 BOFs on Thursday. Let's see if I have those written down. I do. So at 11 a.m. on Thursday is our weekly contributor meeting, and that's going to be in Lennox. And that's going to be in person. Usually we do it on Zoom, so that'll be in person and on Zoom. And then Thursday at 2 is another BOF that I'm leading around Drupal user groups and local association websites, and talking about the different requirements that those groups have, and trying to find a way to collaborate together. So finally, please find me. I've got lots of cards with the QR codes. You can scan that code or find me with a card, and that will get you a shortcut to all the things that I talked about here, all the calls to action on the project page on Drupal.org. Thanks very much.
Hi everyone, I am Lani Moskalik. I am with the Drupal Association, but more importantly, I'm a devoted Drupal community member for over a decade. And I will be talking to you today about the initiative that is very close to my heart. It is community-driven, and it's called Open University. Quick word about how it started, where it started, and when it started. Not so far ago, in Barcelona, during the DrupalCon, it was just last year in autumn, we were enjoying the event, as you can imagine, and one of the community members, Hilmar, who you might know as Drupal Viking, he had a session and had this great idea, actually, that he would love to share his knowledge, and he is, besides everything else, also having a course about open source and about Drupal at the university at Reykjavik, sorry. And he was willing to outsource his teaching materials. And that's basically where the idea started, and it was picked up by quite a few people, in particular Jean-Paul Wasmir, who jumped into the idea, and just like that, the Open University initiative started. More and more people were joining, and now we're quite a crowd, but obviously there is no such thing as too many members of the nice initiative, so if you are keen to learn all the relevant information or get involved, please feel free to join either Slack, on the Drupal Slack, so search for Open University, you will find it easily. Or as well, we have already the project on Drupal.org, so you can follow us over there as well. But let me talk a little bit, like a sneak peek, about the things that we are working on. So you can see over here that we have basically 4 key milestones. One is the courses, another is the teachers, the universities, and the community, of course. So what we want to do and why we need this initiative. We all know that we are struggling very often with new volunteers joining the events or organizing the events, or in general, you know, fresh blood, pretty much. So we want more young people joining Drupal, or like not necessarily young ones, but like, you know, someone who was not part of the community, or like the Drupal one, or open source in general. So we want new people, we are welcoming them, and this initiative actually, like, it opens the door how to easily learn about Drupal. So the key is basically to putting together the curriculum, which we are working on, and sharing it with like everyone, everywhere in the world. So basically, I don't know, if Emmy over there wants to go to the college in her town, or I don't know, Nora wants to go to the university, wherever she is, she can just use the materials, go to the, I don't know, headmaster and say like, you know what, I am part of the Drupal community, I have this amazing course that is being supported by so many brilliant people, and I'm willing to teach students here for free, just to share our knowledge, right? So, and that's pretty much in a nutshell is the goal of the Open University. So at the moment we are already basically like teaching Drupal at university is something that is happening, but just not happening enough. And yeah, I mean, like, especially with the Drupal CMS coming into play, we are lowering the threshold for the newcomers, because like it's easy and fun start basically. So what we want to do is obviously the course that will be like big one for the colleges, for the universities. And also we are working on the set of the 1 day or like half a day master classes, if you will. And the first of those will already be happening at Drupal Jam this May in the Netherlands. So it will be our first try at that, and we're all very excited about it. So if you need an excuse to go to the Netherlands, there you go. Go to Drupal Jam. There you go. And talk to Asme about the speakers for Drupal Jam. But yeah, so in a nutshell, that's it about Drupal University. If you want to know more, please feel free at any point, talk to me. I will be here around like for the rest of the event, or talk to Nora, who is, by the way, also one of the contributing members, or to Martin, who also is involved with Drupal University. So yeah, come over, talk to us, and we will be happy to share everything we know about it. Thank you. Yeah, oh, there we go. We are having a bath. Thanks, everybody.
All right, I'm coming to the realization that I could have given everybody maybe 8 minutes to talk, but we're going to open it up to questions. If anybody has any questions, Amy June has one. There's one in the back. Okay, great. People have questions. Hopefully you guys are up to answering some questions. Just want to flip your microphones up so people can hear you. That'd be great. Amy June, what do you got?
So the question was, is member platform like a CRM? And the quick answer is yes, eventually it kind of is like a CRM. A lot of nonprofits need a CRM, and there is sort of a dearth of Drupal native CRM in modern Drupal world right now. So that'll definitely be a part of it. But I think it's really around being focused on members and membership organizations. There's a new project within the CRM namespace. It's not CRM core, it's CRM, that somebody in the Drupal community has started, and so we're looking at possibly contributing to that and leveraging that platform, which would also be a good base for other CRM needs beyond membership organizations.
Awesome. Anoop, you had a question?
Sure, thank you, Anoop. In terms of the outreach to the universities, we're already in touch with the Cambridge University, as they are using Drupal for the website, and we are getting like some help with the curriculum for them. But as well, we are in touch with the, honestly, if you can provide like any sort of contact, etc., everyone is welcome, because we are trying like to cover as much as possible. And we rely on the community members really to do the outreach to the local universities or local colleges, to be honest. And yeah, because it's a free program, you know, everyone can use it, and that's the beauty of it. And yeah, so just grab it, go to the local school that you prefer, and feel free to share it.
Awesome. Any other questions? No? Going once? Oh, there's one.
Would it be a good idea to go to the people next door at the Higher Ed Summit if you know someone there for the Drupal Open University outreach?
I just might.
There you go. Yeah. The question is wondering if we should solicit folks from the Higher Ed Summit for Drupal University, and I think the answer was, sounds good. All right. Nobody has any other questions. These folks will be walking around all DrupalCon. I'm sure they're happy. They're very approachable. They're nice. Walk up to them, ask a question, and you know, see how you can get involved with their initiatives. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, here's the moment everybody's been waiting for. It's lunchtime. So before you get up, hold on. We're gonna come back in here in the afternoon. I expect to see everybody come back. We're gonna have a fireside chat. We're gonna have a session. We're gonna have roundtables. Things are gonna get crazy. But before they do that, if you are interested in lunch, if you RSVP'd for lunch, there will be lunch. Where is lunch, Joy? Downstairs. Okay, so if you RSVP'd for lunch, it is going to be downstairs. Otherwise, there's stuff all around the Hyatt here where you can grab something if you didn't RSVP. So we'll see you all this afternoon. Hey folks, one more thing. And there's one more thing. If you are going downstairs for lunch, you RSVP'd, Leslie has an orange sticker for you. Make sure you get an orange sticker before you go down for lunch. She will be standing at the door to catch you on your way out.